Did you know that the world drinks more than 2.4 billion cups of coffee every single day? Which means that while you're watching this video, millions of people out there are popping open a coffee lid, pressing a brew button, or simply giving a jar of NESCAFÉ a quick shake to kickstart their morning. But have you ever wondered how can a jar of instant coffee, something so small, require such a massive machine behind it to produce? Or what exactly happens behind the doors of factories that make 175,000 jars of coffee a day? Today, we're heading straight inside the NESCAFÉ factory, where automation, extraction engineering, and quality control systems operate with near laboratory-level precision. The history of NESCAFÉ traces back to the early 20th century, when Swiss chemist Max Morgenthaler spent years trying to solve what seemed like a simple question: how do you preserve the full flavor of coffee in a more convenient form? Finally, in 1930, Nestlé acquired his invention, marking the beginning of the modern instant coffee era. From that moment on, Nescafé didn't just sell coffee, it helped shape a global habit. The journey begins with something surprisingly simple: fresh coffee cherries on the tree. Nestlé sources its beans from regions considered the heartlands of the global coffee map, from Brazil's sweeping Arabica hills to Vietnam's robust Robusta farms, where red basalt soil and tropical climate produce beans known for their bold and consistent flavor. A coffee tree begins its new cycle with delicate, fragrant white blossoms that last only a few short days. Over the next 6 to 9 months, those flowers gradually transform into bright red cherries, the signal that the beans inside are ready for their next chapter. On many small farms, coffee is still picked by hand, slow, meticulous, and labor-intensive. But on large plantations like this one, relying solely on human labor would mean the harvest season ends long before the picking is done. So farmers turn to a very different kind of helper: specialized coffee harvesting machines. As the machine drives along each row, 2 rotating shafts equipped with about 1,500 vibrating rods spring into action. Each rod can vibrate up to 1,000 times per minute, gently shaking the trunk and branches, just enough for the ripe red cherries to fall onto collection trays below, while minimizing damage to the foliage. On average, it takes only 2 to 3 seconds to harvest a single tree, and within about 5 hours, the machine can gather up to 60 bags of coffee, far faster than traditional handpicking. From here, the cherries leave the farm and move on to the processing stage at the factory, where technology once again takes the wheel. At the factory, these fresh cherries undergo a complete transformation. The first step is loading them into a massive intake hopper, where they slide down into a water-based separation system. Here, a deep water tank acts as a kind of natural scale. Ripe cherries, denser and packed with sugars and flavor, slowly sink to the bottom, while unripe, lighter cherries float to the surface and are skimmed off for disposal or other uses. Next, the ripe cherries are fed into large centrifugal drums. As the drums spin at high speed, centrifugal force separates the skin and pulp from the coffee bean inside, like an ultra-fast peeler that's still gentle enough to avoid damaging the beans. However, even after this step, the beans are still coated in a thin layer called mucilage. To remove it, they're transferred into fermentation tanks, often lined with clean tiles, filled with cool spring water flowing from the mountains. Over the course of 12 to 24 hours, natural enzymes and water gradually break down the mucilage. This stage is extremely sensitive. Stop too early and the beans remain sticky. Let it go too long and the flavor can turn sharply sour. Once the last layer of mucilage has been washed away, the clean, polished coffee beans flow toward the end of the washing channel, where another crucial stage begins: drying. This step determines the bean's stability and future flavor. because a coffee bean is only truly ready when it reaches its ideal moisture level. Unlike whole cherry drying, which can take several weeks, these naked beans, already stripped of their fruit, need only about 7 to 10 days to reach the ideal moisture content of around 11 to 12%. They're spread evenly across large drying patios and turned constantly under natural sunlight, or moved into modern mechanical dryers whenever the weather doesn't cooperate. When the coffee beans have dried to perfection, they're moved to the hulling machine. Inside this machine, the tough parchment layer, which has protected the beans throughout the drying process, is removed through gentle, steady, continuous motion. Just a few seconds later, the final coat is gone, revealing the bright, smooth, vibrant green coffee beans inside. Once they meet spec, the beans are packed into 60-kilogram jute bags or CLE export bags, specialized sacks that keep the beans ventilated while protecting them from moisture and pests. Each bag carries a label detailing the growing region, harvest lot, coffee variety, and quality grade, ensuring full traceability from farm to factory. Finally, the green coffee bags are stacked neatly inside a warehouse with natural ventilation. Here, they rest under stable conditions until they're ready to begin the next chapter of their journey into the NESCAFÉ production plant. Now, let's step inside a Nestlé factory, where more than 2,000 people and a vast network of automated systems work non-stop to produce the familiar jars of instant coffee we twist open every morning. When the trucks carrying green coffee arrive, processing begins immediately. Specialized robotic arms equipped with hydraulic grippers gently lift each 60-kilogram bag from the truck and place it onto the conveyor belt. From there, the bags are stacked onto pallets and sent directly to the roasting preparation area. Before entering the fire chamber, each bag is slid open, allowing the beans to flow into a screening machine. This machine acts as the final gatekeeper. Its vibrating screens remove dust, parchment fragments, pebbles, and even separate out beans that are too small or broken. Only the beans that meet strict standards are allowed to move forward. But technology isn't the final decision maker. Before the beans meet the roaster, they must pass the evaluation of professional cuppers, experts who taste up to 100 cups of coffee a day. With palates trained over years, they can detect even the slightest changes in aroma, flavor, acidity, or sweetness in each batch. In the world of coffee, sometimes a single defective bean is enough to throw an entire cup off balance. Next comes the roasting stage, the heart of the production process, where Nescafé's signature aroma and flavor are awakened. At the factory, the coffee beans are fed into massive double-layer drum roasters inside. Hot air is blasted continuously, raising the temperature to around 190 to 280 degrees Celsius. Agitator blades keep the beans in constant motion to prevent scorching and ensure each bean develops its full flavor potential. Depending on the profile Nescafé wants to create, mild, balanced, or bold, the roasting time can range from 8 to 20 minutes. Interestingly, roasting time affects more than just color and aroma. It also directly impacts caffeine content. Light roasted beans, which spend less time in the roaster, retain more caffeine and deliver a brighter, slightly tangy flavor. Dark roasted beans, on the other hand, despite having less caffeine, offer a stronger, warmer, fuller taste that's commonly associated with many instant coffee varieties. After roasting, the beans are poured into a large cooling tray, where powerful fans blow air from below while mechanical arms stir the beans. They stay here for about 5 to 10 minutes to stop the roasting process and lock in their flavor. Once cooled, the entire batch is automatically transferred to an industrial-scale grinder. Here, large, grinding rollers crush and flatten the beans into a coarse powder, essentially preparing the raw material for a massive brewing batch. The ground coffee is then pumped into huge extraction tanks, where hot water is added in ratios precise, down to the last percentage point. In this environment, the soluble compounds in coffee, Its aromas, flavors, oils, and solids gradually separate from the grounds, forming a concentrated coffee extract. When the extract reaches the desired strength, the pure coffee concentrate settles toward the bottom of the tank before being pumped out and evenly spread onto flat conveyor systems, ready to enter the next stage, cooling or drying, depending on the type of instant coffee Nescafé aims to produce. To preserve its full aroma, the mixture is immediately sent into a 30-meter-long freezing tunnel, where the temperature drops to -50 degrees Celsius. Within minutes, the entire extract solidifies into a giant sheet of frozen coffee, stretching from one end of the chamber to the other. Once the frozen sheet emerges, it enters a large machine, equipped with high-speed rotating blades. These blades shatter the frozen coffee into countless small fragments, like shaved ice, but far more precise and controlled. From there, the coffee granules move into one of the most impressive machines in the entire line, the spray dryer. Inside this enormous drying chamber, the coffee extract is sprayed through high-pressure nozzles, turning into a mist of ultrafine droplets. At that exact moment, a stream of hot air, reaching up to 480 degrees Celsius and moving at nearly 400 miles per hour, sweeps through the chamber, causing the water to evaporate almost instantly. What remains after this rapid disappearing act are tiny, lightweight particles of instant coffee, small and delicate, yet carrying the full flavor of the original extract. After passing through the spray dryer and transforming into fine, lightweight instant coffee granules, the product enters its final stage, packaging. From this point on, nearly everything is fully automated. The coffee powder is fed into massive holding hoppers, then flows evenly onto the conveyor system. Glass jars glide quickly along steel tracks, passing beneath the filling nozzles. High-speed sensors measure the exact amount of coffee for each jar, allowing every fill to take less than a second. In some Nescafé factories, the entire line can run at speeds of up to 320 jars per minute, or more than 250,000 jars per day, each one a potential morning moment. For someone somewhere in the world, right after filling, the jars are vacuum sealed to lock in freshness, capped tightly and labeled by machine with all required information. Any jar that doesn't meet visual standards is removed, while the rest are grouped into packs, stacked onto pallets, and sent straight to distribution. And that brings the story of a tiny coffee bean to its end, or rather, the beginning of an entirely new journey. From the sun and wind on the farm, through the massive machines in the factory, to the carefully refined layers of aroma and flavor, everything ultimately comes together in the simple jar of instant coffee you see every day. Thank you for joining Factory Secrets to explore this story. If you'd like to keep stepping behind the scenes of other fascinating processes, where everyday things hide surprising secrets, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you on the next journey.